Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Daria. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Today's practice is a really fun one. So the monthly theme here on my channel for June is balance. And in today's class, we'll be playing with balance on the toes, finding kind of a playful and creative flow to strengthen the feet and the toes. So all that you'll need for this class is yourself and some place to move. And whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. We'll get started today sitting up on the knees. So find your way to your knees unless this isn't comfortable for you, in which case you can find Sukhasana. From the knees, we'll tuck the toes under. Try to get all 10 of your toes tucked, even the pinky toes. If that means you have to reach around and do it manually, do that. And then we'll bring the palms to face up on the thighs as you softly close your eyes. So try to settle into a space of comfort here, even if the tuck of the toes is a little unusual or a little uncomfortable for you. Just begin to deepen your breath and to drop into your practice. Take these first few moments for you to check in with yourself. Make any little adjustments that you need in your seat. And then try to be as still as possible. Begin gradually to deepen your breath. Feel the inhale as it makes its way from the root of where you sit all the way to the tops of your lungs. Acknowledge, feel the pause at the top of the breath, and then take an exhale that flows back from the tops of the lungs all the way down through the core of your pelvis. Feel the little pause at the bottom before the next inhale begins. Breathe in. And breathe out. You might be starting to feel the toes a little more intensely here. You can always relax the tops of your feet down, take a little break if you need. But let's just stay here for a few more rounds of breath. Begin to cultivate your Ujjayi pranayama, breathing in and out through your nose. See if you can balance the breath so that the inhales and the exhales last for the same amount of time, and both have that soothing, audible, oceanic quality to the sound. Can you make your breath so even, so balanced throughout this practice that you almost can't tell the difference between the breath in and the breath out? Take one more inhale. And one more exhale. Gently blink your eyes open. You can bring your fingertips forward. And then relax your toes. You might be feeling quite a lot of sensation. I definitely am. From here, you can just kind of pat the tops of your feet down to the mat behind you a couple of times to let that go. And then from here, make your way into a tabletop position. Paw down through both of your hands. Really feel the spread of your palms and then your fingers. Root every finger pad individually to the mat like it's a suction cup. Then spin your biceps a little bit forward and wrap your triceps backward to activate your arms. Feel already just from hands and knees how much activation there is in your body. Pull your knees a little bit together. Lift your pelvic floor and then press the earth energetically down between your palms. We're still in tabletop. As you inhale, soften the front body, contract the back body, and find your way into a cow. Gentle opening, lift the gaze. As you exhale, get hollow in the core, contract the front body to expand the back body. Make space between all of your vertebrae and allow your head and the back of your neck to relax. Again, breathe in, open the heart, lift your gaze. And breathe out, round and curl, press down into the earth. One more time here, big inhale, lift your heart. And exhale. Find your way back to a neutral, steady tabletop. We'll reach the right toes long and back behind you. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, revolve right leg around to the side of your mat so that it's aligned laterally with your pelvis. Then see if you can keep your leg floating and hover it all the way forward to the top of your mat. Then step the right foot outside of the right thumb, or the right pinky finger, and shift your hips a little forward. So we're in a wide lunge here. Come up onto your fingertips. Take a big full inhalation to pull the fingers back toward your pelvis. Reach your heart forward. And then as you exhale, allow your pelvis to settle down and forward. Feel the sole of your right foot anchoring to the mat. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, shift your hips back, press your palms down, peel your right toes up and away from the mat. See if you can press into your hands and float the leg again up and around to the side. And then right toes glide all the way to the back of your mat. Take one more breath in here for length and exhale, re-anchor right shin, right knee to the mat. Let's go to the other side. Inhale, left toes reach long and back behind you. As you exhale, begin to glide the left leg out to the side. Align it laterally with your hips. See how high you can keep the leg floating. As you hover forward, left foot is going to step outside of the left pinky. Softly roll through the foot as you place it down. So the heel lands, then the ball of the foot, and then your toes. Soften your pelvis a little bit forward and come up to your fingertips. Here, pull the left heel and the right knee a little bit together as you reach your heart forward, creating length in the spine. And on your exhale, settle into the sensations that you're feeling, maybe in the outer left hip and the front of the right hip. Press your palms back to flat. Shift your hips back. Peel your left foot up and away from the mat. So reversing that action we took before. First, the toes come up, then the ball of the foot, and then we shift so that just the heel is rooted. Anchor the palms beneath your shoulders. Activate your core. Press down, maybe. Float the left leg up, all the way around to the side, and then glide left toes to the back of your mat. One more inhale here, lengthen. And exhale, left knee comes back down to the mat. Good. Replug your palms into the earth so they're really solidly rooted. Tuck your toes behind you, and we'll press up and back, downward facing dog. Here, let's play into the feet a little bit. So we can start by pedaling the feet and really articulate through the lines as you roll through one foot and then the other. And as you've done this a couple of times, maybe start to roll all the way forward so that the top of your foot can press down. And then come back and switch other side, bringing the tops of the toes, top of the foot down like you're pointing the foot straight down into the earth. And feel free to sway the hips, wiggle side to side. Take any organic movement that you like. Find more length in the spine and begin to find a bit of steadiness here in your downward facing dog. Feel all 10 fingertips pressing down. Drive more firmly into the space between thumbs and index fingers, and then stretch from the crown of your head all the way back through your tailbone. Press your heart toward your thighs. And from here, with the balls of the feet anchored, can you lift all 10 toes away from the mat? The knees can be a little bent. Then see if you can spread your toes really wide, and then one at a time, place them back down to the mat. And it's okay if they don't actually lift, but let's try that one more time. And as you lift the toes, just notice what happens in the feet and in the lines of the lower legs. There's a lift through the arches of the feet. One toe at a time, and gently press back into the mat. Let's breathe in, lift all the way up to the balls of your feet, and then press the top of the right foot down. And if you're okay here, maybe you can bring the top of the left foot down too. So it's like you're pressing your toes into the mat, and you can take little steps side to side. If this is painful or overly uncomfortable for you, just stay high up onto the balls of your feet and breathe. Let's take an inhale, lift your tailbone. Exhale, draw your knees into your chest, deeply bending the knees. Breathe in, lift the spine. And as you breathe out, roll back over the feet, coming back to your regular, traditional downward facing dog. Breathe in, lift your heels. As you exhale, we'll slowly tiptoe forward to the top of the mat. Try to stay high on the balls of your feet as you come forward. And maybe the further forward you get, it's just the big toe that's down to the mat. Activate the core and softly step into a ragdoll fold. Once the toes reach the wrists, drape your torso down over your thighs. Bend your knees a lot and take a little swing, a sway from side to side. Spine glides left and right. You can soften or close your eyes here and try to become immersed in the full surrender of the spine, folding forward over the thighs, allowing the crown of the head to waterfall forward toward the toes. Re-anchor your fingertips to the mat. Let's draw the feet together to touch. With a micro bend in your knees, we'll rise all the way up to stand, stacking one vertebra onto the next, keeping the belly hollow as you rise. And let the head be the very last thing to lift. Then spin your palms forward to the top of the mat, softening the shoulders down your back. Close your eyes here. With the eyes closed, see if you can lift your toes again. Spread them wide, and then one at a time, place them back to the earth, starting with pinky toes, second toe, the third toe, the fourth toe, and the big toe. And maybe it didn't totally happen. That's okay. For me, it's not totally happening like that, but it's just the intention that we're playing with today. Keep it playful. One more time, lift your toes, pull up the arches of your feet, spread them wider, and then try to anchor one at a time. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then try to grip the mat with your toes, especially the big toes and the pinky toes. Can you feel an even press between both sides of your feet, the outer side and the inner side? On your next inhale, blink your eyes open. Let's lift the arms all the way up overhead, and as they rise, can you lift the heels too? Coming high onto the balls of your feet. And exhale, lower your heels to the mat, draw your palms to meet at heart center. 2 more times like this. Inhale, reach your fingers wide. Imagine that it's like you're being pulled up toward the sky so that the heels have to lift. Firm your thighs. And exhale slowly, or maybe not. We lower the heels back down to the mat, palms to prayer. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Heels rise, fingertips rise. And exhale, how slowly can you roll back down through your feet? Steady your gaze and bring your palms to prayer at heart center. Beautiful. Inhale, fingertips float, heels lift. Now, as you exhale, take a forward fold, a big swan dive all the way down. The heart's reaching forward, tailbone is reaching back, and maybe the heels stay lifted as you fold. Chest comes toward the thighs, fingertips drop in front of your toes. Good. If the heels are still lifted, you can lower them once you find your forward fold. Breathe into a halfway lift. As you exhale, step your left toes all the way back behind you. Now feel the big toes anchor to the mat, the feet are hips distance apart. We'll breathe in and rise up to high crescent lunge. Tuck your pelvis a little bit forward to keep an arch out of the low back. Lift through the sides of your waist, like you're trying to pull your rib cage away from your hips. Now stay here, or maybe press into the ball of right foot and see if you can lift the heel to float away from the mat. Big inhalation. As you exhale, keep both heels lifted and reach your heart forward to the top of the mat as fingertips glide back behind you. Take one more breath here, activate the core, and then on your exhale, drop the left palm down to the mat. Stretch your right fingertips all the way up to the sky. Right heel is still lifted if you can. If not, lower the heel down, take a couple of breaths, and then lift it back away from the mat when you're able. In this easy twist, reach your gaze towards your top right thumbnail. Take one more breath to stretch your heart forward. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and arc your heart to the sky. Now on your exhale, we'll roll to the knife edges of both feet, horizon lunge. You can crawl your right foot away from the top of the mat a couple of times to create more space in the hips. Now, as you inhale, pull the right foot and the left foot a little bit together to lift your hips higher away from the mat. And then on an exhale, stretch your right arm all the way forward over your ear. One more big inhale, create more length in the right side of your body. And then exhale, right palm plants down. Pivot on your feet. We're coming to a wide-legged forward fold, spinning to face the left side of the mat. Turn your toes a little bit in, slightly pigeon-toed. Press into the outer edges of the feet. And as you breathe in, reach your heart forward to the top of the mat. And as you breathe out, we'll fold down. Take a couple breaths here. You can bend one knee and then the other. And do whatever you want with your head and your hands. Well, make sure the head is surrendered, but you can take little rolls of the neck or gaze side to side. Full deep breaths. Crawl your hands all the way to the original back of the mat. Anchor into the left foot, and as you breathe in, let's stretch the right leg high, standing L. Pull the fingertips back toward the left toes, and then exhale, right foot comes down beside the left. Fold in. As you inhale, sink weight into your heels, bend your knees deeply, then ripple your fingertips all the way up, Utkatasana chair pose. As you exhale, just settle deeper into the chair. One more inhale. Exhale, heart forward, fingertips back, and lift your heels away from the mat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and let your gaze be steady. Steady and soft all at once. Then squeeze your inner thighs and see how deeply you can sink. On your next inhale, press down, rise all the way up to stand, maybe staying high on the toes. If you need a break, that's okay. We'll meet with the fingertips up and the heels lifted, and then exhale to draw your palms to meet at heart center. Softly lower the heels back down to the mat. Pause here, close your eyes. Even in this pause, can you stay really focused on your sensational experience? This practice today is all about the focus, balancing on the toes, feeling these small places in our bodies that maybe we don't always stop to notice. And blink your eyes back open. We'll take an inhale. Fingertips rise all the way up to the sky. As they rise, so do the heels. On your exhale, roll back down, grounding the feet, palms to prayer. Inhale, reach up, heels lift, and maybe challenge the balance even more by following the thumbs with the gaze. And exhale, soft lower, heels back to the mat, palms together at heart center, slowly rolling down through the feet. One more time. Breathe in. Maybe we look up, maybe the heels rise. And exhale, lower the heels back down to the mat, palms pressed together at your heart center. Okay. Inhale, lift the heels, lift the fingertips. And this time, as you exhale, big swan dive down to a forward fold. See if you can keep the heels lifted through this transition. And if you're calibrating and wobbling, that's totally okay. That's part of finding the balance. Drop the fingertips down in front of the toes, and if the heels are still lifted, you can ground them now to the earth. Take a breath in to find a halfway lift in the spine. And as you exhale, take a big step back with the right foot, rooting your toes to the back of the mat. Keep your knee lifted. Now, breathe in, dig down into your big toe mounds, hug your feet a little together, and then reach your fingertips up. High crescent lunge. Shoulders are still soft, and the pelvis is sinking down, but from that sink and the anchor points of the feet, we're lifting up and away, creating length in the torso. Now you can stay here, or maybe lift the front heel away from the mat and settle deeper into your lunge. Let's take a breath in through the nose. On your breath out, reach forward with your heart, reach back with your fingertips. So your torso is coming down to a diagonal with the mat. Hug the belly button to the spine to stabilize. Reach your heart more forward, and then softly land the right palm down to the mat. Keep the left heel lifted if you can, and we'll find an easy twist, opening the torso up to the left side of the mat toward your front leg. And see how much you can revolve your spine so that it's like your heart is a balloon that's being pulled straight up toward the sky. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, roll to the knife edges of both feet. Crawl the front foot away from the top of your mat to create more space. And then feel all of the buoyancy, all of the lift of your hips toward the sky. Outer right hip is drawing away from the earth, and you can achieve this by pressing more firmly into right hand and knife edge of right foot. Stack the left hip over the right, breathe in, and then exhale. Left arm reaches all the way forward to the top of your mat. Take one more inhale breath here to stretch out the left side body. Then pivot on your feet. Left palm comes down. Lift the back heel and the front toes and roll around to a wide-legged forward fold, spinning to the long edge of the mat. Toes turn slightly in. Breathe in. Root your palms and stretch your spine evenly forward and back into a halfway lift. And then exhale, fold forward. A couple of breaths here. You can sway side to side. Take whatever you need. Option 2, hook the big toes with your peace fingers, thumb, middle, and index fingers here, and then press your toes into your fingers, but create a little pulling action of fingers up on the toes. So we're kind of moving with an equal and opposite force here, creating more length in the spine and in the back lines of your legs. You'll feel the stretch more intensely. Undo your grip if you took it. Circle your palms all the way back to the original top of your mat. The right foot is forward and the left foot is back. As you inhale, launch into standing L. The right foot's your anchor. The left leg reaches long and back. And then exhale, fold in. Left foot steps down beside the right. Inhale, halfway lift, iron that out. And exhale just to fold down. Inhale to chair pose. Weight the heels, bend the knees, squeeze the inner thighs, and then reach your fingertips all the way up toward the sky. As you exhale, sit lower, like there was actually a chair behind you that you're going to sit down into. One more inhale, draw belly button to spine. As you exhale, heart reaches forward, fingertips glide back, and float your heels away from the mat if you can. Breathe deeply. Find your focus. Next inhalation, dig your toes into the earth. See if you can keep your heels lifted as you rise all the way up to stand, and float your fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, palms come down, heart center. Feel weightless as you softly lower the heels back to the earth. Close your eyes, check in. Take an inhale through your nose. Big clearing sigh out of your mouth. One more time, inhale. And exhale. And blink your eyes open. Soften your palms down beside you. On your next inhale, fingertips rise, heels lift. As you exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. And as you go, can you keep the heels lifted? Once the fingertips land, you can release the heels if they were still up. Take a breath in, halfway lift in the spine, and exhale, step the left toes long and back behind you. This time, lift the right heel, the front heel, and see if you can rise all the way up to stand with the heel lifted, all the way up to your high crescent lunge. Take a big inhale to inflate the heart. And on your exhale, stretch heart forward, fingertips back, glide your torso forward at 45 degrees. Then left palm softens to the mat. The front heel is still lifting. Right arm reaches up to the sky, easy twist. Exhale, horizon lunge. Roll to the knife edges of both of your feet. Press forward through the right big toe mound. Press back through the left big toe mound. And then lift your hips higher away from the earth. Right arm goes over your ear. Inhale. Exhale, both palms come down inside the front foot. Pivot on your feet. Find your way to a wide-legged forward fold facing the long edge of your mat. Breathe in here, halfway lift. Breathe out just to fold. Walk your palms to the original back of the mat. Left foot forward. Press it down to lift your right leg up. Standing L, inhale. And exhale, feet come down, big toes to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, just fold. Inhale, chair pose, sink low. Ripple your fingertips all the way up to the sky. And then right away, as you exhale, heart forward, fingertips back, heels lift. Inhale, press down through the balls of your feet. The focus and the gaze stay steady. The fingertips rise as you come all the way up to stand. This time, see if you can plug your right toes down into the mat and maybe float the left toes like an inch or so away from the mat. And if you fall out, let's try one more time. So high on the ball of the right foot, firm your thigh, and maybe the left toes stretch forward. And release. Bring your palms to heart center. Close your eyes. Remind yourself that this is just about play. Nothing too serious, so take any pressure off of yourself or your body to do any certain thing any certain way. Re-anchor your feet. Blink your eyes open, palms down beside you. As you inhale, fingertips rise, the heels rise. As you exhale, dive down to a forward fold, maybe keeping the heels lifted as you go. Firm the fronts of your thighs, squeeze belly button to spine, and keep the back flat. Then fingertips down, heels down. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, step the right toes long and back behind you. Find your hips distance apart stance. Lift the left heel, and then pull your feet together, rise all the way up to a high crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale, heart forward, fingertips back, left heel's lifted, torso comes almost parallel to the mat, and then bring the right palm down. Step it wide and reach your left fingertips up toward the sky. Easy twist. Inhale. Exhale, roll to the outer edges of your feet. Horizon lunge. Contract the right side body. The more you contract right ribs toward the right hips, the more you can expand the space in the left side body. So feel this duality, the simultaneous expansion and contraction. Reach forward with the left arm. Inhale. Exhale. Pivot to a wide-legged forward fold facing the long edge of your mat. The toes turn a little bit in. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out and fold. Option this time. Crawl your fingertips back between your thighs. Anchor the base of your palms and then create a little bend in your elbows. Contract your core and see if you can pull your heart like it's reaching through your thighs. Bring the palms back under your face, and then we'll walk hands forward to the top of the mat. Press into the right foot, lift your left leg, standing L, inhale. And exhale, just fold. Breathe into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold, chest to thighs, crown of head toward your toes. Inhale, sink low, reach high, Utkatasana. Exhale, heart forward, fingertips back, shoulder blades hug, and the heels lift. Inner thighs squeeze together. Breathe in, press down, rise all the way up to stand, and maybe keep the heels lifted. And as you exhale, this time, press into the left foot more and see if you can pick up the right toes. And maybe it's just an inch, or maybe they go a little more forward, extending the leg out to the front of your mat. Squeeze the core, squeeze the left thigh. If you came out, let's do one more attempt. Big full breaths. And gracefully as possible, let's step all the way down, palms to heart center. Close your eyes. Big full inhalation through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth, release. One more time, inhale. Exhale, sigh, relax your jaw, relax your face. Blink your eyes open and bring your hands to your hips. Heel toe your feet out a little wider. Spin your toes to point slightly out. Take a breath in, inflate your spine, inflate your heart. And then as you exhale, big dive down, heart reaches forward. Fingertips come down to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift here. Exhale, sink your hips all the way down. Low between your heels, Malasana. Bring the palms to meet at your heart center. And then step your right fingertips off your mat to the side. As you inhale, left arm reaches high to the sky. You can stay here, or you can spin the left palm back and bring the top of your hand all the way to the right sitting bone. Maybe go for the bind, interlacing right fingers with the left. Take your gaze up over the left shoulder. Feel your feet. Let the feet be heavy. If you took the bind, release your grip. We'll come back to center, palms to prayer. Inhale. Exhale, the left hand steps out wide, right fingertips go up. Breathe in here, create length, and then stay, or you can go for your bind. Flip your right palm all the way around and back, and see if you can bring your fingers to hook or to interlace on top of the left glute. Spiral your heart to the sky, one more breath. And then come back to center, palms to prayer, breathe in here. As you exhale, plant your palms, lift your hips, and we'll spin the feet back to parallel. Now, come down all the way to your palms, so if you need to bend your knees to get there, do so, and we'll lower the knees to the mat. The tops of the feet come down. Bring the tips of your big toes to touch and widen your knees so that they're about as wide as your mat, like child's pose in the legs. Then begin to bring your fingertips back behind you, lift your sitting bones away from your heels, and then glide your pelvis forward as you lower it down back between the heels, like a saddle. You can stay right here, up on the palms if you're already feeling quite a bit of sensation. If you like, you can begin to lower down to the forearms, pausing here, and maybe all the way to your back. Feel the tops of your feet pressing to the earth. Dig your toenails down. Arms can go overhead if you're all the way lying back. And spread the breath through your thighs, from your hip points to your knee points. Close your eyes. See how much you can surrender to sensation. Let go of any control, any wishes for something to change right away. But just let yourself experience what's happening as it's happening. Come back to the balanced breath. the even inhales and the even exhales. 2 more rounds. Wherever you are, press down into your hands and your forearms. Rise slowly all the way back up to where we began. From here, you can shift forward, circle your legs all the way to the top of your mat. We'll come to a seat. Bring your hands forward, palms to the sky, inhale. Exhale, roll down to lie on your back. Hug your knees in towards your chest and then reach your feet toward the sky. Here, you can soften your arms down beside you. We'll just roll out the ankles a couple of times in each direction. This can look however you want it to. It can be faster, slower. You can roll the feet in the same direction or in opposite directions. And then once you've done a few ankle rotations, let's point and flex the feet. Try to articulate through your feet as you point and as you flex. Feel all of the little shifts in the transition between these two actions. And then widen your feet about hips distance apart, bend your knees deeply. You can hook the big toes with the peace fingers if it's accessible, and drive the knees down to your outer ribs. Happy baby. If you can't grab for the toes, that's totally fine. Take hold of the fronts of your shins or your ankles, maybe the outer feet. Relax your sacrum to the mat. And then let's hug in nice and tight to a tiny little ball. So contract your core, wrap your forearms around your shins. Take an inhale here to squeeze everything in tightly. And an exhale, expand open, Savasana. Toes to the corners of the mat. Allow them to fall open. Palms flip up to the sky. Relax your eyes, relax your head. And before we totally surrender, send your awareness to your feet and your toes for just a moment. And notice any tingly or awakening sensations that you might feel in this space. Breathe into that warmth. And then start to imagine from your toes all the way to the top of your head that it's like you're getting into water that's the perfect warming temperature. And as each part of your body touches the water, it's able to relax. It can be soothed. All the tension can be rinsed away. So feel the water move from the toes to the ankles, up the calves and the shins, into the thighs and backs of thighs. And then let your pelvis sink into this perfect water. And your torso, your chest, your hands, your forearms, upper arms and shoulders, your neck, and then relax your face and your head. Let go of everything and surrender to rest. Start to gradually bring your awareness back to all your sensations. Feel this full body warmth, like you've melted. And then begin to connect with your breath, wiggle the fingers and the toes to gently wake yourself back up. Take a full inhalation, stretch your toes forward and reach your arms back behind you, growing long in 2 directions. And as you exhale, roll to fetal pose. The knees will come in halfway toward your chest. Surrender your head to your bicep and drop here for a moment. And then press into your palms and we'll rise up to a seat, Sukhasana. Try to keep your eyes closed through this transition if you can. Allow your pelvis to be heavy and then allow your spine and your head to be light. Palms can face either down or up on your thighs. Take one more moment here to fully immerse yourself in all the sensations that you can feel in your body. And try to go in and explore even the spaces that you don't normally feel. Sometimes there's these little hidden corners of our body that might feel a little numb or dark. And so practice sending your awareness through those spaces just to see what might be hidden there. Let's take a full inhale through the nose. Big exhale out of your mouth, release. Bring the palms together at heart center. Then lift your heart a little and tuck your chin slightly toward your chest, bowing down in gratitude. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me today. I hope that that was fun and felt good for you. I know that this balancing on the toes might be a little bit new or different or maybe uncomfortable and scary. So just remind yourself that this process of finding balance is always a process. It's an ongoing process that we're continuing to come back to. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, you can do that down below. That really supports me, and I hope you're doing really well. I'll see you soon in another class. Bye.